In any event, my name is Bob Armstrong, and I started collecting puzzles seriously back in the 1990s. I even tried cutting new puzzles, but frankly wasn't very good at it, and turned to collecting and restoring old puzzles. Meeting other puzzle people and becoming active in the AGPI, which is, of course, the Association of Games and Puzzles International. And then with the help of my youngest son, Conrad, and by the way, Conrad is my youngest son, maintaining a website at oldpuzzles.com, displaying many hundreds of puzzles and much information. And each year, through my website, selling old puzzles I had restored. In general, the puzzle world I entered in the early 1990s was competitive, both in buying old puzzles and in making and selling new ones. Puzzle cutters kept their cutting techniques confidential, and puzzle collectors competed to get to the dealers first at flea markets such as Brimfield, like lining up at 4 a.m. in the morning. However, there was a notable exception, a woman in her 80s named Rachel Page Elliott, otherwise known as Pagey, who lived on a horse farm in Carlisle, Massachusetts. She loved cutting new puzzles and, in my opinion, designed and cut the best animal-shaped figure pieces I have ever seen. She believed in cooperation and would invite anyone interested to come to her house, and she would show them her techniques and how to cut a puzzle. She even shared copies of her figure pieces. Wow. Basically, instead of competing over the same pie, Pagey believed cooperation and sharing would increase the size of the pie for everyone. One day in the winter of 1994, on a visit to her horse farm over a glass of sherry, she said, "Bob, let's have a meeting of puzzle cutters." Then she followed up with, "Let's call it a puzzle parley." I felt I had been charged with executing her idea. I also realized this might be an opportunity to inject more cooperation into the puzzle world. And so the first puzzle parley was planned for September 1994 at the home of Pagey's older sister, Debbie Greeley, who lived in a large old house on Main Street in Concord, Massachusetts. Ann Williams played a major role supplying a list of the puzzle cutters, among other things. And my son Conrad stepped forward and co-chaired the meeting with Pagey. Over 20 people were present. But I was not one of them, because I was in a hospital bed in Bar Harbor, Maine, after falling off the Beach Cliff Trail on Mount Desert Island. A fuller description of that accident is told on the About Bob Armstrong page of my website, which of course is oldpuzzles.com. Very difficult to remember that, oldpuzzles.com. This parley in 1994 was followed by 13 more in-person parleys, roughly held every 2 years in places ranging from Salem, Massachusetts, to Rochester, New York, to San Francisco, California. And now this virtual parley. Back in the early 1990s, you could not just look up on the internet how to cut puzzles or where to buy quality plywood or special blades. The parleys became a way for veteran cutters to cooperate and share ideas and information in mutually beneficial ways, for new cutters to learn, and for collectors and buyers to get to know each other, learn about puzzles, and buy new and old puzzles. Now, notable facts from these. In February of 1999, we expanded the meeting from cutters to include collectors, dealers, enthusiasts, anyone who loves jigsaw puzzles. Then in September 2004, Melinda Chabelle joined me co-organizing the parleys. Thank you, Melinda. God bless you. In August of 2016 was our last of 4 consecutive parleys at the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem. And it drew around 120 attendees and we had outgrown the largest meeting room at the hotel and had to plan future parleys elsewhere. By this time, we had shifted more to a steering committee running the parleys rather than an organizer or co-organizers. Finally, I will end by concluding with my opinion, and you're free to disagree. The jigsaw puzzle world is much more cooperative today than it was back in the early 1990s. You will see this in the program for both afternoons, as cutters talk about their special puzzles and techniques, and collectors about their special finds. Paige's vision has prevailed. Hallelujah. And as we go through the next 2 afternoons, you will have an opportunity to buy new and old puzzles directly from sellers by going to puzzleparley.org and click on sales. And now Joe Seymour will give us an overview of how we will be using Zoom throughout the afternoon. It's passed on to you, Joe, okay?
Thank you, Bob. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope that covers the range of time zones that we're spanning. I am Joe Seymour, and I, along with Conrad Armstrong and Chris Yates, will be working. I guess I should turn on my video. Maybe that would help. Sorry. All right. So anyways, myself, Conrad Armstrong, and Chris Yates will be working in the background to keep this meeting running. So this virtual format is the first for the Puzzle Parley. And I'm sorry, Bob, I keep seeing your face. I don't see mine. Am I sharing?
I can't even see my face. I managed to screen out. I don't know what the hell I did.
Joe, we do see you, Joe.
Okay, thank you, Conrad. All right. So anyways, this virtual format is the first for the Puzzle Parley organizing team. And we actually have an 8-member team who've been working on this for a few years, so to speak. You know, we originally planned to have an in-person parley, and that got moved, and then it got changed from an in-person parley to a virtual parley. We will have another in-person parley at some point. I think Melinda will tell us more about that. But at this point, this is the first for us, and we're hoping it'll go smoothly. You know, only one of our practice sessions was a major disaster, so you know, we think this will go smoothly today. We can greatly improve the experience for everyone if we all turn off our video. I see a couple faces up there, so a couple folks do not have their video turned off. So, and I'm calling out. Okay, so please use the chat window. The chat button and chat icon is in the center of the screen at the bottom. If you just click on that, it'll open up a second window. But please use the chat window to type your questions or comments. Do not send questions to the speakers. The speakers will not have their attention on the chat window. So please address all your questions or comments to everyone. Each speaker today has a partner or silent partner who is monitoring the chat. When the speaker is ready to accept questions, the partner will inform them of any appropriate questions. By addressing everyone, we will avoid having many duplicate questions. We will try to answer all questions, but we need to keep to our schedule. So, so far, a few minutes into this, we're on schedule. So, but we will try to answer everybody's questions, but if we won't answer inappropriate questions, and if there are questions left over, if we have time later in the presentation, we'll try to answer them, or we'll answer them by email later. Right. So we will mute everybody several times over the next 2 days. If you are called on by one of the speakers, you will need to unmute yourself, and you can do this again in the lower left-hand corner is the microphone symbol. You know, you'll need to unmute yourself to be heard, and turn on your camera if you wish to be visible. If you do turn on your audio or video, please turn it off as soon as you are done speaking. By doing this, we reduce our bandwidth and the size of the recording files. Both days of this event are being recorded. They will be available, the recordings will be available on our website at some future date. Probably at least 30 days while we all recover from the experience. All right. We will also gather feedback as we progress. After each presentation, we'll conduct a simple poll containing 2 questions. The first question is asking if you like the topic, and the second asks if we should have more of the same at our next event. You know, you're not rating the speaker. We're only asking you if you like the particular topic. And all responses are anonymous. It only takes 2 mouse clicks to answer the questions. Your responses, you know, really help us to improve our Parley events, but you don't have to answer. The question window will only remain open for about 30 seconds and then it'll disappear. So, if you are new to Zoom and are having issues, there is a document called Meeting Guidelines. It's on our website, and there may be some tips in there to help you. We cannot provide answers to questions regarding Zoom during the event. We've got everybody's busy. So the you know, this pandemic was a real downer, but it is really nice that we're able to have, you know, over 200 people registered for this event and able to drop in virtually. So you know, there's been some ups and downs, but this is turning out to be a blessing for us. And if this format works well, we may have some other virtual events. So, you know, basically we're now reaching almost twice as many people as we have in the past. We also have a great international representation. It's been extremely, you know, difficult for some people to travel from far away to get to our conventions or our Parleys. So it's nice to have you all here. I know that we have people I'm in California, so people to the right of me from Australia and people to the left of me all the way to Russia. So we've got we're spanning the globe today. And as I mentioned before, we've got folks that it's very early in the morning and other folks it's late in the evening. So we're doing our best to accommodate everyone. So anyways, thanks. If we all follow the simple rules, you know, turn off your audio, turn off your video, unless the speaker calls upon you, we should have a great day. You know, and if you haven't done so already, please click on the chat icon at the bottom of your screen, bottom center of your screen, to open the chat window and address all of your questions to everyone. It is okay to send messages, use the chat to send private messages to your friends and acquaintances, but if you have a question that's regarding our presentation or the directed to the speaker, you direct that to everyone.